It's an honor for me to interview you today. Both my parents knew you and had great respect for you. I have great respect for you. Um, Let me just start off by asking.
Your parents were great bridge players
Oh,
and great individuals. Yeah.
thank you. Let me just start off by asking what got you into bridge?
Well, I was born into bridge. My parents played bridge. A card table was up all the time. My brothers and I had to often substitute the play when uh, my family's friends did not show up. We played dummy and we learned how to play bridge. Bridge
Okay.
was scored differently than duplicate bridge.
Hmm. Did you play any other card games?
Not early in life. I did when I got to college. We played pinochle, we played spades, and bid whist.
Okay, great. What do you look for in a good partner?
I look for somebody who's willing to accept challenges and admit that we both make mistakes, and most of all, to have fun.
Okay. What advice would you do you give for beginners?
Beginners, I would suggest that they probably would do well to take a class, read, read, play, and if possible, get a mentor to
Okay.
help them traverse the journey of the early entry into bridge.
Who were your mentors? Did you have any mentors early on in the game?
I really didn't have any mentors. My brother Arthur was a better player than I was, so I would just say he was a mentor. Both brothers were members of the American Bridge Association, good players.
Okay. And your husband also was a fine
Oh
one.
yes, my husband, he was a top player and quite an avid player.
Okay.
Wow, description.
All right. Um, are there any bridge books? Do you have any favorite bridge books or anything um that you would suggest or
No,
recommend?
well, everything I've had is probably archived by now. I understand the most popular one is the Audrey Grant series that I see at our bridge hut that people are using. And
Okay.
there's a new 2-over-1, I think.
Okay. Um, Now, do you do anything special to prepare for tournaments?
Uh, because my partners and I at distances now, well, that's been the case all the time. We do, if we are beginning to use a new treatment to expand in some other part of a bridge arena, we will go over most of the things that we've added new to our card and treatment and make sure that we are up to date on those before we hit the road to a tournament.
Okay. Um, Now, how how do you if you have a bad result at the table, how do you move on from that? Is, is there anything you do to move on from a bad result?
Well, most of all, let's try. I don't always, but I try to leave it alone because it interferes with the process of your mental interpretation and execution for the next hand. But that's
Oh,
hard to do. You know, it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. I try
okay.
to not do that. Yes.
Now, for the benefit of the people watching, um, people need to know that you had an incredible career outside of bridge. Um, you were you were in charge of the sickle cell program at the National Institutes for Health for many years. How did your career interfere with your bridge life at all?
Oh, to a large extent. Coming up with my husband, who also played bridge, and 4 children, it limited how many tournaments we could play in, especially out of town. But we managed to have a bridge family and take our 4 children with us, and they worked together at tournaments as caddies.
Oh, okay.
And but many times also I could not get off from NIH for my work because it
Hmm,
was very demanding and it was at a very high level there at NIH.
okay. Um, are there any do you have like any favorite bridge tips that you ever received that you'd like to share?
Um, my bridge tip is to play and to practice. I keep a big library of bridge books. They're probably old now in the bathroom, the library. That's where it's very quiet. My tips are probably to, trust your partner and
Mm,
don't be afraid to make mistakes. None of us is going to be perfect, and you'll get along better if you are comfortable with your partner. And
no, one
don't
thing
teach at the table. Don't teach at the table. That's another tip.
Okay. One thing you've always told me that I love is that you should play the cards and not the people. So you
Absolutely. Hmm.
shouldn't get
Yeah.
intimidated by who you're playing, just focus on the cards. And I like that one. Um, Let me see. Now, a lot of players, they want to learn a whole bunch of conventions. How do you feel? Do you think the number of conventions that a person learns is very important, or would you say card sense is more important?
Well, probably both to some extent, but I think we get overly exposed to conventions and we feel like we have to implement them into our card game. My partners and I, with who we are successful, our motto is the fewer conventions, the better. It has served us well over the years. You look at my card, you won't find very many.
Okay, okay. Now, way back in 1982, there was a New York Times article about you and Dorothy Sides. Apparently, you guys had a perfect game. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I do. That was one of my highlights. I'm glad you reminded me of that. Yeah,
Okay,
we were playing at a tournament in New York City, and I was very surprised to see that article. And we did have a perfect game. We won all the events at that tournament,
okay,
and became written up, got written up in the New York Times.
okay. And then there was also you were part in this. I think it was the late 70s. You were part of a team of women, and you were coached by Bill Sides.
Right.
Do you remember that team?
Absolutely. We had a women's team at the time, an international women's team. And Bill Sides, if you didn't know that, he was one of the best teachers of bridge, and he organized this team for us to compete against the women's team in the ACBL. So we had a lot of strenuous meetings and uh, and sheets of instructions that we had to learn and execute. I don't recall all the women that were on the team, but it was quite a forceful group of women. And we did go to the first, we went to a women's team in Baltimore and we did win the first round. And
Okay.
importantly is the fact that we were not seated
Mm,
and that leading in the ABA and the ACBL.
okay. Okay. Great. Um, I think I've pretty much covered all the questions that I have. Is there anything else you want to share? Um, is there anything else you'd like to share at this time?
Just to say that I've been blessed to have this hobby that I've had for now, I won't say close to 93 years, not playing each year. And I've made lots of friends and across the country. And I think that's another component of the ABA that's important for us to remember
Oh,
that it
I just
becomes a
found,
family.
okay.
Huh?
I just found one more question I'd like to ask. What is the
Sure.
importance of counting at the bridge when you're playing the game? How important is counting?
Well, you can't be a successful bridge player if you can't count the cards and count the hand. I'm not just talking about how many in each suits, but the during the play, how many have been played in a suit, what's left in each partner's hand, each opponent's hand, and it's the mastering of the counting that is the what gives the great players stature, being able to count the cards.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Dr. Reid, I want to thank you for your time, and
My pleasure.
you continue to be an inspiration to me.
Thank you.